If you ever had a second chance, you better be thankful. If you ever had a second time around,
man, I've been through it, I lost out and I'm faced with the funds wrong. Feel no hope, bad thoughts choosing to die, go home. When I was sitting up on that Greyhound, my mind went through these zones like you got none. Lost everything, is no good, feeling alone. Ay, pockets had no dollars, life didn't make sense. How did I end up back where I started, what did I miss? I went from condos to Pop's house, on calls, now bus routes. And the one person who had the key to my heart took it in.
What up? It's your boy Paul P. I serve God. I'm not God. This is just my opinion. And welcome to another episode of the Nothin to Somethin podcast. Now, before we get started, I just want everybody to go on and just hit the like button and get it out the way now. Get it out the way. And if you ain't a subscriber, go on and subscribe to the channel to, become a subscriber and keep up with all the amazing new content that we have coming for you. And also, during this interview, if you want to comment, go on and comment and let us know what you think about it and everything like that. But now let's get to it because I'm excited. I'm really excited. Today I'm sitting here with a real life legend from the very city that I come from. A man who is respected, well known, and have a huge imprint on the streets of LA. He is also a man who has been there and done that when it comes to the streets, so you could really tell him nothing new. Nothing new. Today, he is here to give us his real life story. One of the fathers and founders of the original West Side Crips. The one and the only, Donald SWEETBACK, Archie. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. Thank you. Thank you for that grand introduction.
Yeah.
But first and foremost, I just want to give all glory to God. And in giving God all the glory, that's why I met you.
Yes, sir. Yes,
but
sir.
we definitely have to start there. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for every day above ground, for not only me, but for all races, creeds, and colors, Father. It's not just about black. It's about life and it's about humanity. I just need to say that. Amen.
Amen. So you feeling good? It's a beautiful day. You got the brand, repping the brand right now?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah, if I spend my money on something that's got some kind of name on it, it's going to be something with mine.
Definitely.
So maybe one day I'll get there.
Yeah. And I know everybody gonna, see the shirts and everything like that the brand that you have going on. Let people know what they looking at when they see, that shirt.
Genocide No More is, I was in prison at the time and God gave me the revelation to sit down and put it together and move forward in my purpose in life and quit thinking on my own. You know what I mean? Genocide No More is basically the deprivement of life to your own people, taking your own people away. Good, bad, or indifferent. It's not anyone's place to feel like I need to do something to that person to extricate them. No.
Yeah.
Well, what Genocide No More is, we give back, and I don't have a big staff right now. I do a lot of the work on my own, but I do have helpers. Genocide No More gives what we need to give our children nowadays. Our children have been deprived because of our inadequacies, our quest to be somebody in the streets, to prove to their peers that, hey, I just got this today, and woo. It ain't about that. Genocide No More just gives it raw and uncut.
Yeah.
We teach kids how to cut hair. We teach young people. When I say young, I'm talking about from 4 to say 14 or 15 years old, because nowadays the 15 years old and and older, I haven't given up on them, but they have to show me a desire to change.
Yeah.
If I don't see that in your group, in your bracket, then I go to the ones that listen. If you listen, you can learn something. Yeah. And that's what Genocide No More is about. Giving the deprived a voice.
Nice.
Letting them know that, you are somebody.
Yeah.
I don't care what you've been told at school or on your way to school. If somebody was taking your money, you don't have to be like that all your life. And you don't have to respond negatively, violently. I used to be a violent person. Every time it was about a fight. Until I learned that, and I tell people, I ain't that smart.
Yeah.
But at times I can be intelligent, so watch out.
And we're gonna get into a lot of those things. So don't give them all everything.
I ain't giving it to them. But that's what Genocide No More is all about.
Amazing.
It gives the ones that felt they never had a voice or never had an opportunity to be somebody. You are somebody, whether they throw your names up in the light, you are somebody. And that's why I guess that's why we got so much homelessness. People giving up on themselves.
Yeah. And once we get towards the end, we'll let people know how they can support the brand and everything like that too. So,
Thank you.
So yeah, definitely. So Donald Archie, let's start from the beginning of your story to your life now. So the first thing I want to ask you is what city did you grow up in, and what was your childhood like growing up?
Well, I'm from Ohio. I'm from Toledo, Ohio. And my mom, my two sisters, my aunt, and my two cousins came out here in 1963 in a station wagon pulling a trailer, 2 women and 5 kids. And I got whoopings all the way out here. But once I got here, because I came here to see the cowboys. And I mean, when I say cowboy, I'm talking about horses and stuff.
Yeah.
And when I got out here, it's like, wow. It was different for me. It's much different in the Midwest. But, I mean, I accepted it. It was what it was. But as time progressed, I knew that my life was going to be different.
Yeah.
As opposed to back there.
Yeah, definitely.
Big difference. Never knew that it would come to this point. I'm 68 years old today. Thankful and grateful. I always look in the mirror and I say, "Shit, boy, you ain't bad. You still America's finest. Come on." You can't never give up.
Definitely.
You can never give up.
Yeah. And did you have both parents in your life growing up?
No.
No. Okay. So who was the?
Just my mom.
Okay, just your mom.
Yeah.
Okay. What about siblings?
2 sisters.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, 2 older sisters. One rest in peace now, and my sister that's still living. She takes care of my mom. I want to say shout out to my mother, Ernestine Boutte.
Yeah.
96 years old.
Wow.
96
Amazing.
years old. Yeah.
Amazing.
And always calling me her baby. So yeah.
That's amazing. So
that's some of the things that made me change.
Yeah.
When you look we only get one mother.
That's it. And
when you truly, truly care, good and bad times, you look in your mother's face. And as a male, if you can't look in your mother's face and read your mother's heart, I don't know.
Yeah. That's deep. That's deep, but it's real. It's definitely real. So definitely shout out to all the mothers. Shout out to your mother, 96 years old. That's definitely a blessing.
All mothers,
definitely.
all across the world.
Yes.
Especially those real gritty and brave mothers over there in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm saying prayers for you every day.
Yeah,
Believe
definitely.
Me, I'm not just talking. I say prayers for you people every day.
Yeah.
May God see you through.
Yeah, definitely send your prayers out to them out there.
Yes.
So you eventually come out here in the 70s with your mother and your siblings, right? So where did you first move when you came out here with your family?
78th and Broadway.
Okay.
Right around the corner from the police station. Yeah, that was the first thing my uncle said. What y'all want to eat? You want tacos or something? Taco? What is a taco? I never had a taco in my life. It's 1963. Yeah. And one thing he told us, though, lock your door. I had never heard that.
Yeah. Coming from Ohio.
I don't remember bars on the windows back in Ohio and nobody saying you need to lock your door.
Oh, you in South Central. When you said bars, I'm like, you give me flashbacks. I'm like, okay, you in South Central.
Oh, yeah. I mean, being realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never and I encourage young people to always adhere to your mind.
Yeah.
Your mind and your heart. Listen. You got to listen, because a lot of times it's telling you, don't do this.
Yeah.
Don't. You ever walked out the house and before you left, mama said, baby, where you going? And I said, oh, mama, don't start. Don't start. Because I know I'm getting ready to go do something wrong. And now she's going, oh, man. So I go back in there and sit down because I know what she's saying is true.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
Because if you go and then you call back from that police station or they call, it's all bad.
Yeah.
So listen.
Definitely listen, you know. And just speaking on the bars real quick before we move on, I'll never forget because I grew up in, Watts, and of course we had the bars on our windows and stuff like that.
Right.
We even went through break-ins and all that. So thank God we had the bars. But I remember I moved to the IE for high school and I saw they didn't have bars on the windows. I stayed up and I was about like 14 years old, but I cried every day for like a week because I was just nervous because there wasn't no bars on the window and I
Yeah.
was home by myself a lot. So seeing no bars, that kind of like, that shook me, So, growing up where we grew up at, we know those bars is needed, So, but I want to ask you, growing up as a kid in a very dangerous, city, and when you first got out there and everything like that, how was it for you coming from Ohio to now South LA? How was that for you? Did you recognize early those bars were needed?
Well, in the 60s, it really wasn't no bars. What really changed my perspective about Midwest, East Coast, down South, and West Coast is in the 65 riots when we were out front in our house and they had told us that we had to be in the house by 6 o'clock. And then they was coming down the street in them Hummers with all these guards with these massive guns, which we didn't understand at the time what they were. That just showed me, oh no. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And it started my mind to venture, and as I got older, after seeing that, they was pulling guns on you, telling you go in the house. It's after 6 o'clock and all that. And wow, it was tough. Yeah. It was tough because, like I say, the difference in there and here, the sun is shining and all that, but people back there really cared about you. If a neighbor saw you doing something, they gonna handle it. They're not gonna go tell your mom. And when I came out here, it was a lot of flip flop. Maybe in some areas it was the same as I grew up, but I didn't see it that much. And we'll get into that part too. But I knew that there was a change coming in me.
Yeah.
I don't know how I felt like that, but I did.
Yeah.
I really felt that change. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on inside of me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
So you noticed that was the first thing you noticed when you came, the injustice that was going on and
yeah,
the riots and all of that. It wasn't really what we were as let's say Black people doing to each other. It was what was happening to us by the law. Is that what you're saying?
exactly.
Okay.
And at that time, Black people, in terms of gangs, they wasn't doing nothing to each other. I mean, you would everybody has a representation for wherever they live, I'm sure. And it's just because as Black people, we've seen so much on television where we were kicked in the corner and all we were good for was serving you and tending your crops and your wildlife and stuff like that. And as I came up, it was like, not me. Not me. Yeah. And guys I grew up with, not us. I mean, that's how we felt. even before CRIPS. That's how we felt.
Yeah. Wow. So at this time when these things were going on, was it anybody that you was looking up to? Like, was the Black Panthers around at this time, or what was going on that motivated you guys before the gangs really came?
Well, when you speak of gangs, the term gang never really had a place with us over there on the west side. There wasn't much saying of gang. They didn't just come out and say gang, right? Initially they would say them Crips, or some other informal language. They would try to describe our attitudes, things of that nature.
Yeah.
It was tough, because you would hear the adults. I never forget when my friend's father came home one day and his mother said, "Why are you home so early?" He said, "I got fired." And he got fired because his boss thought it was okay, jokingly, to kick him in his rear end.
His white boss, right?
His white boss.
Yeah.
No, your feet belong on the ground. And just him standing up for himself. And then his wife, she was like, "Baby, I understand." And that as a young man, me and a couple of my buddies were sitting there. We were like, okay, and that's how I grew up when I came to Los Angeles and moved from 78th over to 81st and Dinker. And that's where everything like took off right there.
Yeah. But was it like anyone that was like y'all was looking at that y'all respected, that would motivated y'all even more? Was it a group before you guys?
Well, my godfather, who lived right there, had 5 sons, ex-baseball player, graduated from USC, just lifted weights. He's a handsome guy, very meticulous, kept himself smelling good, looking good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A perfect model for young men. And his name was Al Burke. Rest in peace today. Man, without Al Burke, not only for me, but for the crew I dealt with initially. And he worked at Selmar Juvenile Hall. He was a probation officer at the time.
Okay.
So, he would see us or see me, and he would always pull me to the side, whether it be to cut the grass or something. He gave me something to do in order to get to know me or know how to be impactful in my life, not only for today, but for future references. And that's why I can speak about him like today. I think about him all the time, because without him, as a young man, I might not be here. I might not be here.
Wow. That's amazing. Very amazing story, So as you get a little older, let's say now around junior high school, you now 13, years old and everything like that. Were you getting more involved in the streets at this time? And if you were, what were some of the things that was going on in your life around this time?
Well, I remember when I first checked in Horseman Junior High as a 7th grader. And I've always been kind of big for my age, excuse me. And there was a lot of bullies. And because I was a bigger guy, but a B7 scrub, they used to call us, I guess he felt like, well, if I pick on this guy and I get away with it. And this guy, one day I was looking at a dice game, and it's over the shoulder, because I had never witnessed it. And the guy told me, get back. And I went to step back. He turned around, he hit me in my solar plexus, and it knocked the wind out of me. And I didn't want to show it, right? And I was like, and I'm getting it together. And I said to myself, that won't happen again. But I lived to see another day, because whether I could whoop him or not right then and there, he was much older than me, you know, he was just down there bullying junior high guys. I was going to make a point to see him one day. And I did, much later on in life. I know but that right there, no, you ain't treating me like that, whether you older than me or not. And some of my friends that, you know, I went to school with and we walked home with, and certain things would transpire. And we were like, you know what? We ain't gonna have this.
Would you say that was the moment where for you it was like, this is it? When it come down to the bullying, when it come down to anything disrespectful coming at you, was that the moment for you that was like, okay, it's time for something different to happen?
That, you could never really bully me. Yeah. But that, along with the killing of one of my best friends when I was 16 years old, Larry Kimmons, a 61-year-old guard, gunned him down at Pepperdine College, which was on 79th and Normandy, right around the corner from where I live. A lot of the St. Andrews Park, down at the end, they had these bungalows and bowling greens for elderly white people, and we weren't allowed down there. So it was a number of things. And we just said, you know what? Y'all getting ready to get out this park. And over here, this is getting ready to change. And over here, this is getting ready to change. 16 years old, when my best friend got gunned down, okay. You want to see something? Here we come.
Okay. Wow. So around this time as well, was this when you kind of like met Tookie, or did you know him before this time? Or when did that friendship, start?
It had to be, what happened was, one of my buddies, Ronnie, he had a problem with this guy who lived maybe 5 or 6 blocks from us. And he was from Jamaica. And Ronnie said, man, I got to go around there. I got to fight dude. And I'm like, who are you talking about? And he's like, guy live on such. I said, with the sister, the real pretty black sister in there? I said, let's go. I'll go with you. Let's go.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. And once we got there, and this guy was standing there, and I didn't know it at the time. I had seen Tookie before, but he didn't raise no hell for me to address him. So it's okay. They went ahead and they had their little fight, and right after that, Tookie looked at me. No, I asked him, I said, what you doing here? He's like, I guess I'm kind of here like you, I ain't here, I'm just watching what's going on. And that was logical for me. I can deal with that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, we shook hands, and after they fought, I was getting ready to leave. He's like, what's your name? I said, my name Donald Archie. Just like I say today. I don't say that being boastful. I'm proud of who I am. Yeah. I'm proud of my life because, for one thing, I'm building a better legacy. That's what it's all about. But yeah, that's how I met him. And we left there and we went. And I said, where we going? He said, man, I'm going to steal this pit bull. I ain't never stole a dog in my life, but I love animals. I went, he jumped in a fence, and a grown pit bull. He brought it back. He's like, here, man, here. Like, oh, Lord. And I had to take him. I set him down, and we went and got some food and stuff, and been there ever since.
Yeah, yeah. Y'all was kind of inseparable after that. You
Oh
know, you
man,
and Tookie.
it's I mean, things happen in life,
Yeah.
but we ain't never fought. We've had arguments and disagreements. I don't think a person really understands friendship until they've had some adverse moments within them lives, and you separate, and one of them or both say, you know what, I miss dude, or I miss old girl, or I miss Miss Anderson, or Uncle Joe, and come back and say, you know what, I didn't come here with a bunch of hoopla. I just come back to say I miss you. You my partner. I love you. Boom, embrace, and that's how it's always been. Anybody that say they truly knew Stanley Tookie Williams the third, they'll tell you Sweetback's probably the only one could handle him, only one to tell him, you know, relax or whatever. And I was all, and till today, I'm proud of that.
Yeah, yeah, and I also can't help but to keep looking like you went back. Oh, so you have an original picture of Tookie. We got the camera right there. If you don't mind putting it up, let the people see. Wow, wow. He had the fro and everything right here. This is definitely old school right there.
Oh yeah, we were working at the boys' home on Slater in Compton.
Wow.
These two pictures here. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing.
And you know, if I can say this.
Yeah.
This ain't about Tookie. This ain't about me. This ain't about Raymond. This ain't about Bulldog. This ain't about Craig Craddock or anybody else. This is about a body of work that the West Side came across without even knowing what we were doing. Wanting to make a difference, wanting to make a safe haven for our area.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because that brings us right into the next part I was going to go into. So y'all ended up starting the West Side Crips, and it was formed at St. Andrews Park, right?
Well, it was that was our park. It was formed on the corner of Dinker and 81st.
Okay.
Yeah, we met every day. We drilled every day. We worked out every day. We marched in the streets like soldiers every day. We went to Western Surplus and stole our boots, stole our pea coats, stole our suspenders, whatever we needed to be as a group. That's what we did. That's what we wasn't playing with it no more. We weren't playing with life in itself. Before CRIPS, it was Donald Archie now. Yeah. If somebody say, well, man, we got into it with us. Who? Them dudes, you talking about Donald Archie now? That's just how it was. Not putting nothing extra on it, not trying to put myself, because like I said, it ain't about me. It ain't about negativity, no way. We live and we learn. It ain't what you did, it's what you do after.
Yeah. Wow. And if I miss anyone, let me know. When it come down to the original, members of the West Side Crips, it was Tookie Williams, Ricardo Sims, Cuz, Airskin Mad Dog Jones, Ricky Henderson, and Adam Harrison. Am I missing someone?
Ronnie Jackson.
Okay. Ronnie Jackson.
Let's see. Because see, when you say original,
yeah,
we started West Side Crips. We formed it right there on 81st Street.
Okay.
All of us didn't live. Tookie lived on 83rd. Cuz lived on 62nd down off Normandy. AC Harrison stayed at 110th and Butline, but me, Cuz, Bub, Lil Ricky, Ronnie, we stayed on 81st and 80th. So when we say originals, we're not saying that guys that joined later weren't original West Side, because West Side is no more. So it was only one body of West Side. But the originals, the ones that did the homework, did the footwork, it was only about 10 of us. And I want to say this, it takes nothing from guys out of the hundreds, guys out of the 30s and 60s, all the way, because we went from, which is now Harlem, all the way to Gardena. But initially, it was only about 10 of us.
Okay.
But as, you start traveling here and there, you picked up other people. That's why I always tell people, I just give the facts. I'm not trying to discredit anybody. If you got credit coming, then step up and get it for yourself.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to West Side Crips, until the day I die, I have to put it out there what we were all about. Yeah. What happened around about 75, 76, that's when gangbanging started. I never gangbanged a day in my life. I cripped. I crip. CRIPS. Collectively reciprocating individuals' potential spirit. I'm a grown man now. How can I react like when I was young? I can't. You wouldn't even want me on this show if I was still living in the 60s. Come on. I mean, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate life, but I also appreciate the change that God has steered for me.
Amen.
Truly appreciate it. If Christ ain't involved, see you later. Bye-bye.
Amen. Amen
Yes.
to that. And this was already went over the original members and everything like that. This was even before the East Side started, right? The West Side.
East Side was already doing their thing.
Okay.
If I can, I used to fight a lot, so I got kicked out of Horseman, Bret Hart, Henry Clay, and all them schools. So there was a school for bad boys called Reese, Jacob Augustus Reese.
Okay.
Which is Bethune.
And we're gonna get into that. we're gonna definitely get into that.
Yeah.
But what I do want to ask though is that at this time, the main thing that y'all were focused on was working out right, because guns and things like that wasn't popular at this time. So y'all was focused on getting big, throwing hands, fighting and things like that, right? At this time of your life.
Yeah. Yes, that sounds.
Or if you can explain it a little bit.
No, it's good.
Okay.
It's
okay.
good.
Okay. So being an originator from the time where it was all about getting big, protecting by making sure that you know how to use your hands and everything like that. What are your thoughts on, let's say, like what happened the other day to PNB Rock getting shot at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles in LA? Seeing where we're at right now and seeing something like that goes on, which didn't really go on at the time when you were younger. What are your thoughts behind an incident like that?
First and foremost, I want to extend condolences to his family and all his loved ones. And I really not going to expound too much on it, because I'm not 68 years old for nothing. I know how to stay in my own lane. I know how not to put myself in harm's way getting in somebody else's business. I will say this. Things happen like that in Philly. Things happen like that in New York. Things happen like that in Atlanta and all other major cities to guys that come from here. Rappers. I don't condone it. Truly don't condone it. That's why Genocide No More. I feel bad. I feel bad for all parties involved. But And it's even hard for me to say it's really not my business, because it is my business, because I'm in the business. I work for God. I'm in that business. I'm in the business of not worrying about what this person or that person over there is saying, but I'm intelligent enough to know how to sustain my life, because it's all about my family, my friends, my neighbors, and the young people that I work with. I don't want to say the wrong thing, because I can't say the wrong thing because it's not in me.
Yes, sir.
It's not in me to say anything. Things like that happen when you put yourself out there, so to speak. I want everybody to know all across the world. I don't care what they tell you about the mayor and the police chief and the sheriff and them. Crips, Bloods, and Mexicans run Los Angeles. So if you come out here and you ain't connected to somebody, and you ain't out here fronting. I'm not saying that this brother was fronting. Don't get me wrong. I'm just giving a scenario. You got to know somebody. You come out here, whether it be a basketball player or a football player, you come out here for these big contracts. Then you better go get you a spiritual and cultural advisor if you want to go to these fancy places in these impoverished neighborhoods and communities and wherever it may be, because somebody see you come and it's like you smiling down on them. I mean, you frowning down on them. That's all I have to say about it. I don't have an opinion one way or another. Like I said, I feel bad because whoever did it, whether it was a white boy, Mexican, black, Asian, I don't know. And I ain't trying to seek to find out who did it, because it ain't going to bring the brother back. All we can do is learn from this. Learn from these things. If you got the jury, you know you got it. You don't always have to flaunt it. You flaunt things in an area where people got it. You don't flaunt things in an area where they don't have it. I don't know. That might not have been the answer folks wanted to hear from me, but guess what? If you've never met me, I'm talking to people out there. If you never met me, then you don't know. But if you know me, you know. I stay out of folks' business, man, unless you're a real partner of mine and somebody push up on you or something and I know you don't deserve it. Yeah, I'm gonna have something to say about it.
Yeah. No, and you said it you said it perfectly. You know, I think you laid it out the way a lot of people need to hear it. And you also said something that I think was very important, because I think people take it wrong. You spoke on making sure that, you know, you connect with someone to understand things, you know, better, you know, rather, you know, that's someone that you know, or, you know, someone connected to somebody that you know. So basically you do believe in anywhere you go, it's good to check in with somebody. Checking in is not nothing to take in no negative way. Checking in with someone is something positive. Is that what you're kind of saying in regards to that?
That's simply what I'm saying.
Okay.
Checking ain't cheating. I'll be a Crip to the day I die. I'm not actively involved in the nonsense. And somebody might say, well, what's the nonsense? Whatever I ain't involved in. I'm not going to put a description on it. You know. Anybody else? Anybody out there knows. That's why my quest is to work with your kids. Work with your kids. Your kids are the same ones that's out there doing those things. And you and your neighbor sitting over there talking, oh, that boy, that gang member. Your son's in the gang too. So quit passing the buck and do something about it. Do something. Okay, if you feel like they 20 or something and ain't no more you can tell them, and you know how kids when they get 18. When you tell them you get 18, you got to go. So they figure, okay, well, I can do grown stuff. That's why we got to work with these kids. It's imperative that we work with these kids because it's not so much, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about no games. I want to spend time talking about how we can help our young kids become who they were supposed to be.
And that's the goal. That's definitely the goal, and I appreciate you saying that because it's definitely all about the kids, and we definitely gonna get, because I want to ask you something in regards to your story and the things that we was talking about. But before we get back to that, if you want to speak on it and don't mind speaking on it, we also have another popular, really good person who everybody out here looked up to, who was also killed, who went by the name of Nipsey Hussle. Now, when this situation happened, what were your thoughts on it, especially being murdered by someone who was a person who was also a Crip? Was this something that you had thoughts on, or you really didn't have no thoughts on it at that time?
I have a Genocide No More. Yeah. That was before Nip. Yeah. I knew nothing about Nip until I was at Crenshaw High one time. Big boy from Power 106 at the time, Nipsey Hussle, Trayvon Martin's family was out here gaining support. And we were over at Crenshaw High, and Kobe Bryant showed up and the whole 9 yards. And I saw it with Nip up there on the panel, and I asked him, I said, what they got him up there for? I knew where he was from, but I knew nothing about him. And from that point, I started learning some things, right? And I'm like, okay. I actually, wish I would have met him prior. I liked his energy. I liked his attitude. It's not easy to rep a popular entity like over there where he lives, and say over where I was raised across Western. When you function in a powerful entity like those entities, I don't do names like that, but and you speak up and you're proud, then regardless to what happens, you separate things. And that's what I respected about him. I even wrote a poem for him, and I don't know why I didn't think to bring it. Because it don't matter to me where you're from. Be it Crip blood, it doesn't matter to me. We are all Black men and women. And if we continuously allow the perpetuation of hatred from our forefathers and our mothers and stuff like that, the white man, I can't stand for nobody to say nothing like that in front of me no more. Yeah. Because guess what? It's too many years that we could have did something about it. So I'm not going to lie in nobody's self-pity parties. Don't invite me to them. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good with being me and in my direction. What you do is what you do. Definitely. Not me. Not comfortable for me. Yeah. No. Don't nobody owe me nothing. James Brown say, open up the door, I get it myself. That's what he said. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the fire and tenacity that we Blacks have. I heard somebody the other day, oh man, I'm stressing out. I said, what? I said, man, we was built for this. We may not like it, but we were built for adverse circumstances. Yeah. You can't tell me, oh, you holler now, you don't eat pork. I remember I passed in your house and smelt your mama up in there with that Farmer John bacon and that sausage. Pork is the only thing wake you up in the morning, partner. That's the only meat you can cook. And you ain't got to go and knock on your kid's bedroom door. Yeah. It's going up under that door. Yeah, it's going through them windows. Yeah. and you're going to come up out of there.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Amen to that. So, yeah, appreciate you explaining that too and going over that. So going back to your story and everything like that. So, like you said a little bit earlier, you went to a lot of different junior highs and ended up at an all boys school, you know, and had an encounter at one point in time with a man who went by the name of, at this time, a boy who went by the name of Raymond Washington. So, do you mind kind of going over that a little bit?
Oh yeah, I didn't know Raymond. Never heard of him in my life. I come from the West Side. But I went to Reese, and most of the guys at Jacob Augustus Reese were off that east side. And one day I came to school, and Reese was the only school that had a swimming pool at that time, I think. And we were all in the pool swimming and everything. And Coach Brown was a well-built coach. You know, he didn't take crap. And we were in there swimming, and all of a sudden I started seeing people getting out, and I heard this guy talking loud, and I didn't know him. So I kept on swimming. And before I knew it, I was being pulled down, and we tuggled a little bit, and Coach Brown ordered us out the pool. We got out, and Coach Brown, I don't know. I'm not going to say he didn't like Raymond. I think he liked Raymond, and he wanted to try to change Raymond for the better. I think that's what his thoughts were. And he was like, I think, Raymond, I think you done met your match today. Everybody out. Padded room. We're going to let them handle it. And later when we came out, me and Raymond shook hands. We was cool. That was my boy, man. And then later, he started gravitating to the West Side. His sister stayed on 83rd and Normandy. And it wasn't nothing for Raymond to be at the door 8:30, 8 o'clock every morning, Monday through Sunday, you know. Good brother, man. Yeah. Real good brother. I just want to say, I think out of everybody, I think Tookie and Raymond were dealt bad deals on the way people thought about them, the way that they were described as humans. You gotta look at it. We were 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
Wanting to be somebody. It's better than not wanting to be somebody. And all the movies are out with John Wayne. And how could we identify with John Wayne? I ain't identify with no John Wayne. Yeah. And none of my folks identified with. So we didn't have anybody to look up to other than some of the older guys in the neighborhood. And at that time, it was guys, big buffed arms. And when you were young coming up, everybody wanted stuff like that. Yeah. It didn't define who you were, but it put you in a position where people could separate you from others.
Yeah. And for people who may not know, Raymond Washington, he was from the East Side, right?
Yes, sir.
And was he the one who formed the East Side Crips, or?
Well, as I've learned later, Raymond was probably more boisterous, but no, I know 3 guys that really kind of ran that, and that was Raymond, Bulldog, which is Benny Ray Simpson, rest in peace. I miss you, my brother. Craig Craddock was probably the first Crip to ever get killed. He went early. God bless him. Think about you brothers all the time, man. I know y'all up there listening. Yeah, this is what I have to do. I have to situate things, because I don't like when somebody says something negative about Raymond. I don't like when somebody put Bulldog down. I don't like when people have opinions about Tookie and they start to voice their opinions now that he gone. If leave the dead, man. You do yourself an injustice when you go to talking about real legends. And those guys, real legends in Los Angeles. Because like I said, Crips and Bloods and Mexicans, they run this joint. Say what you want to say.
Very true.
Good, bad, or indifferent.
Very true. Very true.
Good, bad, or indifferent. You know. Everybody's not laced the same. We all don't know how to spell metamorphosis. We all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That if you live over there and I live over here, if we never get to know each other and share ideologies or things that have shamed us, we can't grow from it. So that's my whole thing. I don't get into the East Side business because I'm from the West Side. But I can speak on certain individuals over there because I ran with them. I did a lot of things with them, went to school with them, and they deserve to be appreciated for what was seemingly negative. That's all we knew.
Yeah. And also from that relationship, eventually after becoming cool, Tookie and Raymond, are they the ones who formed the alliance between the East Side and the West Side?
No.
Okay. So how did that alliance start, or an alliance never started?
Raymond invited, like I said, I went to school with Raymond now.
Yeah.
I was at Edison at the time, in the 8th grade, and Raymond was like, man, won't y'all come over to Roosevelt Park? I'll tell him I ain't coming. I mean, that was my attitude then. That was my attitude today. And I took him, and they ended up going. They went over there. And that's the initial time Raymond and Tookie met, was that record hop at Roosevelt Park. Truth. No fiction involved. But I want to say this. In no organization, no conglomerate, no group, you might have a CEO, but you got managers and you got other stuff like that. So it's not about who started CRIPS. It's about the fact that the story gets told, that the legacy of CRIPS doesn't just get flushed down the toilet because nobody took out the time to make sure people understood what our initial purpose was. That's why I keep fighting. That's why I keep hitting the streets. From Crip to blood, you can get in a world of trouble talking crap about me because you think you're in another neighborhood. Because I deal with them all, and they know genuinely. Man, Triple OG, yeah, he a Crip, but guess what? He a black man.
Amen to that.
First.
Yeah. So you will say, and I'm asking that for a question. Y'all did come together though, the East Side and the West Side. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay, great. So when y'all came together, would you say, because of course every time you do something, you have a goal. Would you say that y'all was able to accomplish some of the goals that y'all had for coming together when y'all did?
Oh yeah. Because when we used to meet up, they would only a few of them had cars at the time, but we would meet on 83rd and Western. It was a Jack in the Box. But if you stood on Western in Manchester, the East Side would fill up 3 metro buses, as they call them now. I ain't talking about nobody else on them, but East Side Crips. Then they'd be followed by a few cars, you know, certain guys had Hatchet Man and them guys, they had cars. And then they'd come there and we would already be there. And it was phenomenal because the post office, U.S. Post Office, was right across the street from Jack in the Box. Ran by the federal government. We didn't give a shit about the federal government. to see 300 and 400 young black guys with Stetson brims on, Dobbs hats, leather coats, suede coats, Levi's or starch khakis standing in the corner with the suspenders hanging down without no hanger or nothing. That's a lot of work that the young man has put into it. When you see that many young people moving as one, it was a problem. No negative. No negative. We minded our own business, but if you got in our business, east and west, you got a problem. Like I say, when you see 3-4 buses of young, tenacious young men with aspirations to be somebody, pull up and start walking down the streets, 300 and 400 strong. I used to see them white folks, the cops, and they shake their head, right? You know, boy, they turning red. Boy, what we gonna do with these young people who shared no fear? Who shared no fear? Because there's a couple of them guys in there that done knocked police out. And the police just had to accept it. They don't go for that nowadays, but oh yeah.
Yeah. So there was never no like really big let's say wars with the police during this. Okay.
Oh, I mean, I thought you meant
with the police. Like
we stayed on their head.
Okay.
From the sheriffs. That's why you got all these guys now who call themselves gang specialists. McBride, which is a sheriff, and a few other names, you know. Yeah, they took some bruises, buddy boy. Yeah. Cause you take us to jail, our mamas come get us out unless you killed us. You know, and they never really, after they killed my boy, that 61-year-old guard, what is he even doing with a job at 61 years old? But it happened. Life didn't end there. And I lost some more real comrades. And I received some comrades back after 30 and 40 years of imprisonment.
Yeah. And we're going to definitely get to that part too. So going back to Raymond a little bit, sometime down the road a little bit, there was a story where Raymond and some Crips attacked a Sylvester, Scott and Benson Owens, who were students at Centennial High School, which later led to Sylvester forming the Bloods. Did this immediately?
What they call Sylvester?
That's what I wanted to ask you when it come down to Sylvester. Did Sylvester Scott eventually form the Bloods, or this is something that you don't really have no knowledge of?
He got to have a nickname.
Okay, when it came down to the nickname, you know, that's what I was gonna ask you.
I don't know. You know, like I say, I stay in my own lane. Are you talking about AC?
Okay, that's what I want. I'm getting the knowledge from you. I was still in my mother's. I wasn't here yet.
I'm just asking.
So I want to get the information from you. You know it best.
Babalu.
Okay, Babalu. That was the name. That was his name, nickname.
Babalu.
Okay.
Was a Crip first.
Okay.
Babalu is still my friend today. And yeah, everybody said Babalu started Pyru, right? I don't know. You know, there's a lot of Pyrus and stuff in Compton. Like for me, Ludus Park was Compton's Bloods. You know, that's where I knew the real Bloods out there. I know that Pyru was named after the street, but no, I don't know who started it. You know, like I say, people that want all that information start donating to these purposes that are really trying to help kids, and
Yeah.
then you can come around.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem today. We have to make it accessible to guys like LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and even the big owners. You should be able to come into the neighboring communities and walk around and look and see what's needed. We're not begging for anything. We're just asking you to not put all the money in your venue, which we pay out our money to come and buy tickets.
Yeah.
We support you. Don't, and I have to get up. Super Bowl halftime show was LA.
Yeah.
That was LA. So anybody that don't know, that was LA. That's how LA do it.
Yeah.
That's how LA did things. Despite all the Crips and Bloods, wars and stuff, boy, you got to come together.
Yeah, definitely. And the Super Bowl, that was probably the best Super Bowl that we the halftime show that we had.
Halftime show.
Then,
the game was just a game.
Yeah.
I've seen better games.
Yeah.
But the halftime show,
yeah.
You'll never in your life see another halftime show so straight up as the city. That was LA.
Yeah.
That was LA. You can't take nothing. You can't take nothing from us, and you should be trying to give us something.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to ask you before we move on from it, just to know what was going on in that time. And you can answer it if you want to answer it. When the Bloods were formed, did that create an issue between the you guys immediately? When the Bloods did get formed, did that create issues and a lot of fights between you guys and everything like that? Did it make things worse?
No, because see, there's a difference in a Blood and a Brim. The first Red Rags that I ever encountered, and it wasn't in a negative perspective, was Six Deuce Brims. Okay. Them was the first ones. And they lived right down the street from us. It wasn't much fighting and this, that, and the other until one time at Watt Stack in the LA Coliseum, when the Crips was all on this side and the Brims was all over there. But the only thing that's probably saved a mass murdering was some white boy was on the field and he had did something, and some of them Crips and Bloods was chasing him, and in front of the stage was a big fence. Oh, he climbed that fence to get away. And now that I look back, like, boy, that saved it, because the Crips and Bloods was doing that. The Crips and the Brims was doing that together. So it was like, and then when you live so close to somebody, let me tell you something. I've had fights, individual fights, but I don't jump on nobody. I ain't never did that.
Yeah.
No, for what? I just didn't see it. I didn't want to be Al Capone. I didn't want to be Babyface Nelson. I didn't want to be Jake the Barber. I wanted to be a football player. I wanted to be a young black man playing football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Destruction wasn't a part of my daily thinking at all, even till today. And some would say, you can't tell me that I know you. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah. And kind of speaking on football, so now as you get a little older, you're in high school. What was your high school experiences like? Like, were you in high school? What high school did you go to in LA?
I was at Reese.
Okay.
I went from junior high school to high school in the all boys school.
Okay.
They didn't want to let me back out.
Okay. And what was that experience like now 16, 17 years old?
It was okay.
Okay.
It was okay because everybody at our school was sent there because they quote unquote supposed to be tough or whatever.
Yeah.
I went there with a lot of Bloods. I went there with a lot of Brims, a lot of Crips. If you came to Jacob Augustus Reese with a tag on you about being this, that, and other, you better be there when you get there. You better be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like Pelican Bay and some of those prisons. Everybody up there is a killer. So you going in there with some more killers. So if you ain't real, you better go somewhere and sit down. Of course, you're gonna get tested. Yeah. It's coming. And you can be as quiet as you want. You can make people laugh as much as you want. You can be a clown. Somebody gonna pull your card. Somebody's gonna pull your card to make you identify.
Yeah.
This ain't no joke here. This ain't no joke.
Yeah. And I know too, around this time when you was around 16, 17 years old, this is also around the time where I know Tookie got arrested for like car theft and things like that. Now, were you kind of in the same thing, or what kind of was going on with you at this time? Were you staying out of trouble, or were you kind of going through some of the same similar things?
You know, I brought the book, and you stated that you wanted to get the book.
Yes, sir.
Tookie even tell it in here, and it came to me like this. Tookie lost his way when he started to listen to certain individuals that were becoming a part of what we had put together and blowing his head up. You know, you didn't have to blow his head up. He was already a figure that you knew you had to deal with, whether you're looking at him, talking to him. But him listening to people who meant him no good is the reason why he's not here today. Yeah. And it hurts. It hurts because it wasn't his fault. You know, when you come up in these impoverished neighborhoods like ours, and hopefully your stepdad doesn't beat on your mom, and you have to determine whether or not you got to kill this dude for putting his hands on your mama, or how you gonna live your life. You ain't got no father in the house. Most of us brought up in single parent dwellings. And I know from my mom, she did. I used to tell her, I said, Mom, my journey in life has really nothing to do with the way you raised me. Short. All that I am and all that I hope to be and all that I have accomplished are a result of the hand of God on my life. Only the mistakes have been mine. So we have to own up to it.
Yeah.
We have to own up to it. Yeah. And take it off our parents. You know, you can only imagine what Tookie's mama felt like when they found him guilty. What Monster Cody's mother felt like when he was deemed dead. What T. Rogers out the jungle was going through before he got a kidney. You know, things like that. Nobody knows what the mother goes through. But that's where we come from. That's where we gain our identity there, and then as we start in the streets, setting our own precepts.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't have said that any better, you know, and broke it down, you know, everything that you just said, you know, about, you know, Tookie and the rest of the crew. So, and their mothers as well, you know, and families, how did they, you know, feel? So that's what it's all about at the end of the day, you know.
At the beginning and the end. That's the problem now. That's the problem now.
Yeah.
People disassociate themselves with the moral scruples things that Black people identity was built on.
Yeah.
When I was coming up and we go in a department store, I might have said I wanted something, but you bet I wasn't falling out crying for it.
Oh, we couldn't.
Now they
Yeah.
do that, and it ain't nothing you can do, because they'll go over there on their own phone nowadays and call the police and say, I'm in CVS on Slauson in Vermont, and my mama just popped me upside the head, and if you hurry, the knot is still here. Kids are so intelligent in that way. That's why I asked today that we quit depriving our children of a better future just because we've been denied. I'm going to say that again. We need to quit depriving our young just because we were deprived.
Yeah. And I think that's a very important conversation to have, and eventually we did start to notice, even in my generation, things started to change. But there was a huge change, when it come down to where we're at now, and your generation as well, because eventually guns came, drugs came, and all those type of things. When did you start to notice those changes? Because at first those things were here, or they wasn't popular when it came down to those things. When did you start to notice? Was it a teenager or
like
when did this
16,
happen?
17, going to them Tom Cross, Hunter Hancock record hops at which is now Jesse Owens, used to be Sportsman's Park, and they only had them at a couple of venues, Jesse Owens and Roosevelt Park on the east side, and the thing was Red Devils, bullet head Red Devils, and Truanals. Most of us were athletes, but we succumbed to what was going on. And I'll be honest, I've never drank alcohol in my life, never smoked no cigarettes. I've tried cocaine and things of that nature, just wasn't my thing. But I remember a time we was going to the record hop and we all spent money. We had 2 Red Devils apiece, about 10 of us. And everybody taking them. And I'm not taking no Red Devil. I'm thinking I'm slick. I'm looking around. I throw it over my shoulder. I'm do like that, right? And everybody, and I'm like, yeah. My homeboy tapped me on the shoulder. He said, what's this? I said, man, I just had to tell y'all, man. Y'all know I play football. I can't handle that, which I couldn't.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as bad as what you see today. I am so irate to see and hear that people don't want to do no more about it than what's being done, especially with this fentanyl. They say that this 15-year-old girl who died, she bought some Percocets, not knowing that it was laced. And that was okay? Just because she was buying Percocet? What is a 15-year-old dude doing with Percocet? Why? I mean, the mama, the daddy, and whoever. I'm not placing any blame on you. I'm just saying, and not just to you, I'm talking to every adult parent out there, whether you live in the house with your child or not, whether it's your child or not, because I have 5 children, and I talk to them periodically. Some of them mad at me, some of them not. But when they get grown, you let them be who they want to be. I don't get into the logistics of worrying about how long you're going to be mad at me. You grown now. I love you, and I hope you know that. But people, these kids out there now, they do what they do because when you having a barbecue in the backyard, y'all all smoking these major blunts and stuff, and you got the kids right there with you. So they think, okay, I seen my mom and them smoke a little weed, and they go down the street, and somebody introduce them to it, and they say, well, this don't smell like the weed my mom and them smoke because it might be some PCP.
Yeah.
I say all this to say, it starts simple, and it gradually grows to an enormous amount of dishonor, disrespect. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care what color the kid is. Parents today, I would feel like I was wasting my time to come here and speak if I really didn't have anything to say.
Yeah.
It ain't about me. It ain't about Crip. It ain't about blood or such. It's about our young. We have to move expeditiously now to save them. After this podcast is over and whoever views it and look back, I'm 68 years old. I'm homeless, but I care enough. I care enough to keep pushing for others.
Yeah.
Others I don't know. Because I know my situation going to get better. I don't live in the street, but I'm homeless.
Yeah.
It ain't about where you at. It's what you do with where you at. If you got to go out in the yard and get the water hose, don't go funky every day just because your circumstances might deem that. No, you're giving up. Don't give up. Don't give up on your children. Don't give up on yourself. If you're a parent, it's not to say that your life is over, but that fun part and all that negative, it's time to help your child.
Yeah.
Know what they wear when they leave up out of there. Know if you should be able to know if your daughter is some boy been sniffing up her butt or vice versa. Know your child a little bit more than what you've known them yesterday.
Yeah, I definitely think that's important. Parents definitely need to be in their kids' life, and that's why I think that everything that you're going over and saying today is important, because at the end of the day, you learn from past lessons and past things that you hear from others who are sharing their experiences, so I think it's a blessing, to have you here today and say a lot of the things that you're saying and giving, your background and where you come from and everything like that. So with that being said, you did eventually serve time in prison, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Do you mind going over what led to, was it cripping or what kind of led to prison, and everything like that?
Cripping never got me in trouble.
Okay.
Cripping never got me in trouble. My desire for money is what got me in trouble. The misconception that I could get rich doing, crimes. That's what got me in trouble. No, cripping never. Cripping's why I'm alive today.
Yeah.
Because I cripped. I didn't gangbang. Big difference. Big difference. Big difference, partner. That's what's keeping me alive. That's why I still care about others. Because that was West Side Crips' whole thing. See, West Side Crips, we never had a real leader. It was collective. We had to agree on things.
Yeah.
But because I had the ability to talk and express myself a little bit different than others, and that's why, and then, like I told you before, it was West Side Crip, it was Donald Archie and them, whoever was with me, right? A brother named Miles Monroe, who rests in peace, from the Bahamas, said, leaders are born, not created.
Yeah.
So you can go buy all the books you want. You can go to all the monasteries to become this, that. Boy, if you ain't a real leader at heart, ain't nothing else gonna get you there. And if you think so, you'll end up losing your life trying to get there, trying to prove things to people.
Yeah.
I look at Tookie's picture every day like a few others, and I say, man, because he used to always tell me, he used to always call me Sweets. He'd say, Sweets. He said, boy, I want to be public enemy number one. And he kept saying, I said, Tookie, come on. Come on, man. No, you don't. I understand why you're saying that because, of, you know, we looked at the movies, Al Capone, and I understand. But you got to be careful what you ask for. You got to be careful what you ask for. And he said that to me in one of my visits at the county jail one day. He was sitting there and he was in these chains in this little booth, and he said, Sweets, he said, you remember when I used to say I wanted to be public enemy number one? I said, yeah, I remember. I said, but don't worry about that, you know, because I used to always try to make him, if you've never been to death row, nobody can tell you about death row. He used to say things to me and other people that I know have gotten off of it, but I've never been there. And that's a place where don't nobody care for nobody. And in essence, you learn over time to not care for yourself. So for him to do that, and I told him, I said, you know what? I pray to God you don't lose your life, but this jail has saved your life. And ultimately, things had just went too far, and they took his life. And that's why when I read stuff that he has wrote or said, his intelligent level, Tookie could have been a mayor, a senator. That's how much sense he had. I mean, unbridled sense, man. But he's not the first. Monster Cody was not the second. And a lot of other young black men throughout our neighborhoods who have died violently because they believed in something.
Yeah.
They were put in that position. They were tired of seeing how the white man was treating their mama and their daddy at work. And oh no, I ain't gonna never go through that. Oh no. I remember down in Mississippi one time, my grandmother was dying and we were outside. And some little young white girls threw a rock from next door and hit my older sister in the head. And she took up one, and she could play baseball when she was young. I mean, she lasered and busted the little white girl's head. And my grandfather grabbed us all and he said, I got to get y'all out of here. And later we found out the white folks kill you down there about that. Right? And I used to say, my grandfather said, I'll stay down here with granddaddy. Oh, no, granddaddy. Because ain't no white folk going to do me like that. Well, the same thing in our communities, man. They pitted us against each other. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. We can only be held accountable in the negative if we continue it, though. Gang banging, young folks out there, it's over. It's over. If you're still out there doing it, ain't nobody really paying attention to you. You're just flapping your wings. Y'all flock together. Y'all go low riding together. Y'all do all this. That's over. Let's change it. Let's change it around, man. Let's make LA the city everybody wants to come to, even the squares. We can do it. We the ones who turned it around the other way. They put all the blame on us. Let's turn it back around.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you already know where that will start, though, right? Not with the law enforcement.
It starts with us.
That's where it starts.
Yeah. That's why I'm still alive.
Yeah.
I heard somebody the other day, I don't know if they were being facetious or not. They said, that's King Crip. I ain't King Crip. I'm not, but if that's how you want to look at me, yeah. I fight for Crip. Real Crip. not the nonsense.
Yeah.
Not saying that everything we did was so right and everything you guys are doing so wrong. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that it's behind us. Let's go forward.
Amazing, amazing. So, how much time did you serve before you finally got out?
I did installments here and there, but over a period, probably about 31 years.
Okay, 31 years.
Yeah, away from my mama.
Yeah. Wow.
Away from my mama, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
And when you finally got out, and I could hear it a little bit with what you're saying now, did you have a mission now when it came to the gangs and where Crippin' have went and the things that you would not just see but hear on what's going on the streets? Did you have a mission now to change things, or what was your goal when it came down to the Crips and everything, if you had one?
It's definitely changed, but it starts with me.
Okay.
You call me King Crip? Yeah. I am West Side Crip. From day one. Yeah. I put Tookie on. I put a few more of them on. Love them. Hate that they're gone. But it's not about who started West Side, who started East Side, who's it. What are you going to do today? If you're still alive and you still got a voice, there's a chance that we can change some things. I don't do intervention. I'm not running out on the streets every time somebody get killed, talking about this, talking about that. I'm not doing that. But if you hear me, if you get a chance to see me, because I don't camera chase. People all the time, man, why don't you? Because every site is not for me. Everybody that even if a person wants to pay, every dollar is not a good dollar. I'd rather be poor and broke than to accept some money from Trump or Putin. Huh? I'm real with it. Simple as that. That's why when people say, why you always tell people your name Donald Archie? Because that's my name. And that's who I am to the duration of my life. Been the same all my life. I ain't mad at you. If you mad at me, you get mad at me because I ain't got nothing. But what I do have is a desire to set things right and help young people. If you don't want to be helped, I ain't got no problem with that. I ain't got no problem with it. It don't mean I'm not going to speak to you. It's not going to mean if I'm going down the street and I see 3 or 4 dudes push up on you and I really know you, I'm going to stop and say, man, what's going on, man? What's going on? Come on, man. Come on. Yeah. I risk my life for a stranger. I think Kendrick Lamar said that. He'll still risk his life for a stranger. Listen to what people say, not necessarily the melody, but the lyrics. Yeah. They said rap would never make it. Shit, they making all the money. R&B singers and stuff, they have to put a little rap in their song to get paid nowadays. Yeah, but they said we couldn't make it. This goes out to poor people, prisoners, slaves, and disenfranchised everywhere. Through faith and theory put into practice, we can bend the most oppressive circumstances to our will to make the impossible possible. But you just got to lift up that foot and step forward.
Yeah. I mean, and when you talk about us coming together, that leads me to like something that I heard you say before, and you kind of mentioned it today. You called out people like LeBron, Kawhi, Anthony Davis, Offset, Snoop, and you basically said, like we run LA. I guess you were meaning the gangs and them coming together. What the gangs are, if that's not what it is, can you explain why you were calling them out?
I'm calling them out because they come here for these big old checks. And you never see them. They act like they're scared. They'll hang out up at Pan Pacific Park up there in Beverly Hills or Hollywood. But we paying you. We really love you down here. Come on down. Talk to us. You did it in Ohio, where you from, LeBron. I'm not trying to place nothing on you, LeBron. Brother, I used to didn't like you because Kobe would always serve your ass. But I come to know some things about you, and I respect that. And I know you a man of honor. We ain't asking for no handouts. We just saying, come check us out. We're Genocide No More, Chapter 2 with PP and them over there. That's feeding everybody in the neighborhoods and stuff every Wednesday. And PP is off the east side. He over here with Chapter 2 over here in H-Ray Hood every Wednesday, handing out food and all that. That's what I'm talking about. People that ain't got nothing. We're not asking LeBron, Jeannie Buss, Mr. Balmer, Kawhi Leonard and them. We're not asking you to give us nothing that we don't deserve. We deserve you guys' respect, and that's all it is. Respect, when you respect something and you know it's vital, then you buy into it. And in you guys' case, Genocide No More is only asking for donations. That's all. If we don't get it, that don't mean I'm going to stop going to these schools and these churches and meeting young people, and they say, are you a member of this church? Nope, never been here before. But I saw the young people outside. That made it my business because it's God's business. And I'm so proud to be able to say that today, coming from where I come from. Man, I'm so proud. I'm so proud to be a part of the movement. And I don't know who you are or what you believe, but the rapture is here. You better step up. You better work on how you gonna be looked at when you're gone. Yeah. How your kids gonna speak up on you. It ain't how you started, it's about what you do after that. All the disciples in the Bible, they was murderers and everything else.
Yeah.
Times ain't changed.
And that's another thing I want to ask you, because when you got out of jail, or it could have happened when you was in jail, but when did your faith and your voice, when it come down to speaking, on your faith with God and Christianity and things like that, when did that really grow? Or have that always been there and people just didn't know?
It's always been there, but I wasn't as candid about it. Because just like any other human, we all want to be accepted. Anybody that doesn't want to be accepted, I can't believe that. Everybody seeks acceptance from something or somebody. And I was in Corcoran, and I was in a program created by Walden House. And they had this whole week of festivities on the yard. They had basketball tournaments, softball games, so forth, and they had a poets contest. And I loved to write. And I was in it. And I knew something was going on. They were so tactful. And the little white boy, and he had all his friends there, and they were like, okay, everybody that's for such and such race. And they was hollering. And when it came my turn, there wasn't nobody around. A few blacks, a few other races that knew. And I took second place. And the guy came over. He said, man, you actually should have won. I said, no problem. I got a time. Just may not be my time. This is actually what I told him. And even later, if you allow, I want to read that particular poem, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But I just started to speak to the voice that was speaking to me. If people can understand that. God has always spoke to me. I didn't know how to discern what he was saying, because I was still trying to be me, who I thought was me. And the Lord was trying to show me, that ain't you. I'll show you who you really are. And that that was in 2007. And from that point on, I just start like, because I've always been my own man. You know, I ain't the toughest guy, I ain't the bad guy. I'm not saying nothing that about me. I'm just saying that God has loved me enough for a reason. And if I can't love myself no more, then what am I here for?
Yeah. And I think it's important, and I appreciate you speaking on that because, I'm a believer as well. And a lot of times people who say they believers are very silent when it come down to speaking on their faith and their relationship with God, because everybody like to say, oh, I got a relationship with God or thank God, but they not really living in a direction to show that they have a relationship with God. So I think it's important for someone like you to speak on this, and for me too, to continue to speak on how important it is to have a relationship with God and everything like that. And you pointed out something very important. We was talking about a lot of the people who were sinning in the Bible who did things worse than anybody on this planet that turned it around and became disciples and became,
Yes, sir.
people
that
who
we read
represented
about
God.
today.
Yes, exactly. And a lot of people don't think about that like you could go through a lot, but you could turn it around. So I think it's important that we speak on those things, and I appreciate you talking about that even more.
And I appreciate you but I appreciate you having the platform like you do, because I don't mess with any and everybody. Anybody know me? Anybody has looked at any videos I do? I don't do war stories. I don't do none of that nonsense. If it's not about building a better relationship with my brother and my sister, keep it over there.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's what you like, that's what you do, then hey, I can't argue that. But for me, that's why when I met you, it was like when I left here that day, man, I was so fired up, you know, and putting things together. One thing I learned, you ain't got to worry about me getting ready. I stay ready. Because if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And boy, people, situations, and things occur. You better be ready. Longevity only comes to those that are ready. You might trip. That don't mean you got to fall.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Amen.
So
Amen.
This platform that you and your people have created, bruh, you call me anytime.
Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate that.
And it's not people. There's no one that does this type of stuff that can say I told them that.
Yeah.
Believe that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I ain't no more than the next guy.
Yeah.
But I am still interested in our young.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And also, I just got a couple of more questions. I also want to ask, and I ask this because I know you changed your life around, and I'm pretty sure you still familiar with people who are a part of the CRIPS, the Crips, and things like that. And I don't know if you come together with some who have foundations and everything like that. So I wanted to ask, are you familiar with Big U, and do you do anything in regards to working with him, with the youth, or when it come down to the community, or you're not familiar with him?
I've never had the privilege.
Okay.
I'll entitle it a privilege, right? I met him a couple of times at Rancho Park when he was had some guys over there working out football wise. I was doing personal training at the time, and I met him, talked to him briefly, But no, I've never done anything with him as far as community stuff. Okay. I was there when 60s A-trays and 40s and Jungles and all them walked from Ralph's over to Nipsey's store. I got in the back, but no, I've never did. Like I stated earlier, chapter 2. which is run by PP off the east side, but he lives on the west. I appreciate what he does for those young people and those young kids that don't have no food every day. He provides it. I can appreciate Skip Townsend, which is a blood, who has tapped into the legal aspect. He works for Gascon's office. Oh, a lot of people didn't know. Yeah. But we never had nobody in that place. And some might say, well, he ain't ready. He's there. What he don't know, we can help him know. It's a collective thing. It's not just one. I don't, as they say, shout out people who I don't think deserve it. But who am I? But chapter 2, I know is doing some good work. And some other entities that really have no titles, that may have done negative in their past and still got some money and they still come out and feed people. That's still happening. But there's nobody that I can speak of. And it's not because there's a lot of people getting these little grants and this, that, and the other. I don't be mad at them. Genocide No More ain't got none of that. I ain't mad at them.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at them.
Definitely.
But it has to be done accordingly.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah, definitely. That definitely makes sense. I know one time, I just want to say we only got a couple more questions. One time you said that you apologized, for a lot of you guys who started, you Tookie, and Cuz, and a lot of you guys who were original and originators, of the CRIPS. I wanted to ask, why did you feel that you had to apologize for all of your original members?
Because I was at the head of it. People from the West Side, whether they're still here or not, we all were individuals. And like I told you, at some point, Tookie allowed his right ear to be saturated with a bunch of nonsense, making him feel he was bigger than life. And in essence to that, he lost his way. And even in losing his way, I never left him. I was always, the day before he was arrested, I dropped him off and we had conversation, and I just like, but it's, in life, this stuff was written way before we even were born. We fell into it, and we didn't deal with it properly. And it hurts. Truly it hurts. It truly, truly, truly hurts to see my real everyday comrades gone, and people saying negative things about them. Well, they can't come back and rectify it. I'm still alive. That's why I tell people all the time, you will never hear Donald Archie get into none of that until you got something to say about West Side. And even in that, I'm not a child no more. We ain't going to be going back and forth with that he say, she say, Buster and all that. Because one thing I know, every dog that'll bring a bone will take a bone. You know what I'm saying? So you'll come to me with some crap and then go back and tell somebody something that you're afraid of, but you want him and me, to jog about it. Ain't going down.
Yeah.
Truth is the truth. Truth is the truth.
Amen.
Don't call and try to schedule no appointments with Donald Archie talking about Crip or nothing else if you ain't ready to hear the truth. I'm going to give you the truth. I ain't going to talk about nobody. I'm going to try to limit my names that I mention because you never know who's listening and what their ulterior motives are.
Yeah.
But I'm here for a purpose. This is my purpose.
And I definitely, you know, I believe everybody could see the path that you on, you know, with everything that you're talking about and being an originator, being an OG, and where you at now, the way you speak now.
Time out. I ain't no OG. I'm the only triple left.
Triple OG.
That's right. Give me mine.
That's the first bomb I done did all day because I've been letting you speak. But triple OG.
Give me mine.
Triple OG.
When I don't say it for my ego. I say it so young people that read and hear and listen to me and say, he was at the start and he's still here and it's still going on. Maybe I better listen to him. Maybe I better gravitate. Maybe I can ask him a question. See, I'm approachable. You can see me in the street. I don't care who you are. I don't care what race you are. You can see me in the street and say, you know, and I get it. Man, I seen you on YouTube and woo, woo. I got pictures in my phone.
Yeah.
I got pictures in my phone with dudes from 60s, Hoover, Captain Crunch and the Funky Bunch, and it don't matter. If you want some real ammunition to keep you alive and keep you moving forward and not accepting the fact that, oh, I didn't spell good in school. That ain't the end of it. Yeah. Work on it. Yeah. Work on it. That's what I give. Yeah. I give a life expression of something that America says has plagued our world. There's Crips and Bloods in South Africa. There's Crips and Bloods everywhere, right? Not to say that, of course, they're not like L.A. You understand what I'm saying? But let's change that.
But do you look at that in like excitement, wow, or do you look at that at like, what did we do? What do you look at that like?
Today?
As a triple OG, day one.
I'm excited because I'm still here to help revamp this. I'm not trying to say I got all the answers to Crips and Bloods stopping it. No. I will say this. I do represent the most powerful entity on this earth, and that's the word of God telling you that, guess what? This is how I made it. One guy told me one time, he said, man, he said, it's good to see you, but you've been lucky. And I took offense to it. I was ready to whoop his butt. I'm serious. He had just got out the pen. He went to the feds before he left. He had a whole lot of money. And when I come home, he ain't offered me none. And I pushed up on him. I was going to take his money.
At 68, you were still ready to get
No. This was some years ago.
Oh, okay. But you still to this day, I see.
Yeah, because I didn't looked out for you.
Yeah.
Nigga, you couldn't even go down Western Avenue. I don't care how much money you had or this, that, and the other. But then I said, you know what? That's his money. He didn't want to share it with me. Now he come home and he want to be around everybody. Get away from me. Get away from me. Fake. Get away from me. Yeah. If you can't be real about this, get on, man. Get on. It's not about, see the killing and stuff, it has subsided. You don't hear very much about gangs killing each other no more because they out there flocking and running in these jewelry stores and getting, and hey, y'all ain't killed nobody. Do what you do. Quit killing each other though. If this new trend of smash and grabs is the thing and y'all ain't gonna kill each other no more, that's just telling you gangbanging is over because all y'all ain't Crips that's running together. Some Bloods in there, there's 60s and 8 trays and Hoovers hanging together and doing, come on, man. Come on, young sisters. You weren't designed for this. This is how society has placed this stuff in our minds, that this is how it has to be. No, it don't. I didn't have to stay the person I was 15, 20 years ago. I'm not going to be the same person tomorrow that I was today. Because I learned something. I met you, I met your brother, I met your partner, I met your engineer. When you meet people, people say, man, you just talking to that person like you know them. I'm trying to get to know them. They're in my path. Until I exit, I'm trying to learn all I can.
Yeah.
You can say it's my business or it ain't. Anything that's my business, I'm going to learn.
Yeah. Wow. And that kind of take me to this follow-up question. You know, what advice would you give to a young man out there, you know, or young men who are out there 14, 15 years old, growing up in the hood, whether that's Watts, Compton, you know, South Central, or anywhere in the hood that have no pops and believe their only way to survive is to be a part of a gang? Because we know I come up in Watts. I know, thank God that I had uncles and a lot of them, you know. So they kind of kept me away from it and put a basketball in my hand. But what would you say to the young men who are out there who don't have a pops and they like, this is the only direction I could go in? What is your advice to them?
Go on my Instagram account, the last triple OG, Donald Archie, and holler at me. Because it's something I can tell you. It may not be what you want to hear at the time, but it's something that you need, because it doesn't come from me. I'm just the voice. Everybody say my title on my poems is The Love Cup. God is love, I'm just the cup. So if you come to me, he's already equipped me with what you need. Whether it be a candy bar, a bottle of water, a hug, a manly hug. I deal with so many little kids that have not been hugged. Can you imagine that? A young child that has not received a hug. I mean a real hug. You a man. You seem meticulous. You're good looking young brother. You can tell when a ratchet grab you as opposed to a real woman. There's a difference in the way they feel. You understand what I'm saying? One could just gonna be trying to find out, how he move when he making love to me, and the other one's gonna say, I wanna feel his heartbeat. I wanna feel his pulse. I wanna whisper in his ear and see if he smile. That's the difference. That's the difference. So many young people have never received accolades from family members. You walk in and say it like this. I hadn't had an automobile in almost 40 years, in and out of prison and stuff. And then about 6 years ago, I moved. My mom got sick, and we moved her off with my sisters. And I'm a mama's boy. So anytime I come out of prison, whether I got a woman or not, I'm going to my mama's. And just to know that I got to do this on my own. And I rode, a friend of mine bought me a mountain bike, cost $6,000. I was hot at him. What you buy me a bike for cost $6,000? You could have gave me that, you know. Yeah. But I understood, because I always loved to stay in shape. And then I got a car. Then I had 2 cars. Then I had a truck. And then I got rid of one of the cars. And then my truck got hit. Well, I just got another truck. And men, some of my acquaintances, along with some women, said, man, I'm proud of you, man. That meant the world to me. I ain't no bum. But it meant something to me after all these years of all the adverse things that I've went through prison, through finding my true purpose in life. It took time. It took diligence. But I'm reaping the benefits now.
Yeah.
Every time I look around where I feel like, man, God make a way.
Yeah. Amen to that. Amen to
I'm
that.
sure you can identify because you're sitting across the table and you've been doing your thing, and I don't know if people know about the studio up here, about this young brother and what he brings to the table, and the people that are connected with him. Boy, y'all missing it.
Oh, this is God doing. I'm just a vessel.
That's why I'm here.
Yes, sir.
That's why I'm here. You know, this guy, he said, I'm waiting on God. And people are traveling by him. They say, you want to ride? No, I'm waiting on God. Bruh, God sent them to give you a ride.
Yes, sir.
You talking about you waiting on God. Don't try to do all the thinking on your own. Listen, let somebody else help you. God gonna send somebody. Not that he ain't right there, but he gonna send somebody. He gonna send somebody that you can relate to.
Amen. Amen to that. Amen to that. Definitely appreciate that.
But I gotta say this. Anybody that watches this podcast, I've never seen it. I've never nothing. Y'all missing it. Anybody out there that has a true meaning, true purpose, and boy, y'all better get to know these folks over here, because they real over here. And like the brother said, this is the spirit moving. This ain't no gangsters moving. This ain't no nothing like that. This is the spirit, the best lawyer in the world was lawyer Jesus. Come on, man.
I gotta give you that right there.
Lawyer Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
man, please.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not trying to pump up this brother or what he got going on. I'm just telling you what's coming.
That.
It's coming from my heart. I'm talking to the people out there listening. I ain't talking to you.
You know, I understand. It's not pumping me up. You know, this is.
I'm talking to the folks out there that should be listening.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sites out there trying to say this, trying to say that. That don't mean it's all truth. It doesn't mean that what they're saying has energy that can impact the betterment of our lives. Be it black, white, green, brown, Asian, Russian, or it doesn't matter. We're all here together. I ain't gonna push you, and don't you push me. Now you can hug me and tap me on my shoulder and say good day to me, and probably in time we'll end up in some form of business, some form of reconciliation for our society. Other than that, you ain't gonna hear nothing from Genocide No More, and from all I've seen about Something to Nothin. You ain't gonna see none of them either, because it's about positivity. This ain't about who homeboy knocked out the other day and somebody went back by his house. That's for imbeciles. Those are for people that's not thinking. It's society today is too open for you to keep thinking like that.
Yeah, I always say, you know, here we tell the true stories, but it's motivational stories as well. You know, it's not about the negativity and, you know, the issues and what's gonna make us continue to go against each other. It's our true stories, but it's also at the end of it motivational stories as well.
When you see people who sit back and they have went through so many things in their life, and they hold, well, I don't want to say that because I'm ashamed. Your shame can open the door for somebody else, because they might have experienced the same type of shame that you have. But until you bring it out, nothing will ever work. I told my nephew, until you start forgiving, you won't move up in life. I got shot one time, and boy, believe me, but I had to give it to God. I've forgiven, but I haven't forgot. But in forgiving, God teaches you how to, that's in the past. I look at it every day, at my leg.
And you know who shot you and everything.
Oh, I know it all. But guess what? The bigger picture is this. I work for God. He don't. God don't have nobody on his side that hasn't been wounded in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Those are the ones that are the best teachers. So I say, like guys that have come home from prison that spent 30, 40 years, if I could just say a few names, Tony Stacy, I mean, and I say Tony because I just left Tony a few minutes ago, and he out here struggling, working hard, and this, that, and other, trying to. And I told him a few minutes ago, I said, man, I'm proud of you, man. You spent 30-some years straight behind them walls. You come out here and you still speak to old ladies walking down the street. You still respect somebody and say, hold it. Don't step out in the street. Here come a car. Those are the type of people that people should be putting money into. Yeah, people who genuinely, like yourself. Man, people, if you live in LA and know anything about LA, you know when to speak and when not to speak. Not that you're afraid of anybody. It's just, boy, if you don't want to be here long, you get out there and go to calling people snitches and getting all in other folks' lanes and all that, then you won't be here.
Amen to that. I mean, you ain't lying. You telling the truth. Yeah. So I mean, definitely. I mean, when it comes down to everything that you're spreading right now, it can't be said any better, you know. And what I want people to do now is, you know, for us to, as we wrap this up, is you want to read your poem as we wrap this up?
Yeah, I want young people out there to listen to this. I wrote it in Delano 1 back in 93. It's called The Beginning or the End. It goes, I'll never be back is what they say. They mark on their calendar one less day. I'm tired of this place. There's a better life. I've got 3 lovely children and a beautiful wife. This is the most common phrase you hear in the pen. In the struggle for life, some lose, some win. Some will get released and never return again. They will enter into society. Their lives they'll try to mend. There are first-termers. Their hope is their last. They're 3-time losers. Their lives a shadow of the past. There are all kinds of gangs looking for a way. They seek protection and attention to ease their stay. But what will they do when they get too old and the stories of prison life have all been told? Will they get into a nice car, go to a home they own, or spend the night in an alley, cold, hungry, and all alone? Will they collect a nice check for the years that they've toiled, or eat soup from a can that's either cold or spoiled? Will they ever know life with grandkids on their knee? No, you can't teach about life in the penitentiary. Some will get released and start smoking pot, some will die of overdose, and some will get shot. Some will get tired of running from place to place, and yet others will return, the strain of life still on their face. Pens were built to last many, many years. When you arrive at the gates, there can be no more tears. You had your chance, you blew it, so it's here you'll stay. Thinking about tomorrow, dreaming of yesterday. How quickly your goals change when you hit the streets. You fail to stop and think as your vein and the needles meet. You should get yourself a job, start a family and enjoy life, or get violated on parole if you get caught with a knife. So take heed to this point. Is it the beginning or the end? They don't pay you for a career when coming to the pen. You can get your life together or stick your head in the noose, or when I pass you on the highway, I'll continuously see you riding the Grey Goose, which is the prison bus that takes you from court to court and from prison to prison. And in closing, I'll say this.
Wait, before you go, I got it just going on there. That was wonderful. Beautiful. Well written and everything. Beautiful.
I want to end it in this. Faith is the key to fit the door of hope. But there's no power anywhere like love for turning it. Don't keep misconstruing the word love. God is love. So when you tell the lady that you love her, or your children that you love her, or that you haven't told them, take the time out and share the unconditional word love and respect it. Respect will take us a long way.
Wow. I haven't heard a close out any better than that so far. Man, appreciate you. Donald Sweetback Archie. Triple OG.
Triple, don't forget that.
Triple OG.
Yeah.
Hey, support the genocide. No more. Support it, man. Hey. You heard it from the man.
if you ain't got nothing to give, your time.
Hey.
I mean, if you have a specialty, if you're a carpenter or something, and you appreciate what Genocide No More is building,
yeah,
this okay. I created it, but guess what?
Yeah,
I'm not a fool enough to know that. I know I need help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And just really, really quick, if somebody do want to support, is there anywhere they could go to support it?
Yes. The last Triple OG on Instagram.
The last Triple OG.
Right.
On Instagram. Okay.
Go
to the last Triple OG.
Triple OG.
On Instagram. Type that in and you can find out how to support, and you can support up over there, all right?
And hold it. In closing, you see the t-shirts, we have shorts, we have hats, and we're building. Like I said, I'm homeless. And my little money, I funnel back because I don't want to see these kids running up and down the street on these mini bikes like they're doing nowadays without helmets. When you show interest in a child, they'll reciprocate and come back, and they might come to your house at times that you might not want to see them, but guess what? They believe in you. So don't turn them away.
Hey man, it's your boy Paul P, Triple OG, Donald Sweetback, Archie, Nothin to Something podcast. We are out of here. Love you all.
Thank you.
I gave up and stopped believing. The world around me started crashing. I didn't see me living.